What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Vend Guys. Today I'm going solo. It's just going to be me. Maybe that's not a good thing. I need my co-host to help me out here, but we're joined by Darin Shapiro, who is a fellow operator, much larger operator than myself and probably even our other two hosts. So we're going to get into Darin's story and his operation, and hopefully we'll provide some valuable bits of information for the listeners. What's going on, Darin? How you doing?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Where are you joining us from today?
We're on Long Island in New York.
All right.
Right in the middle of the island. We service all, 5 boroughs and Long Island in New York.
Okay. Awesome. Wow. That's quite a large service area.
A lot of action.
Yeah. So let's get into your business first. How big is your route? How many machines are you guys running?
We run about 700 machines with about 30 micro-markets and ha-has.
Okay. So you're running both smart coolers, smart vending machines, and the older traditional style vending machines.
Mostly vending machines still, but we've been slow to moving towards micro-markets when the whole industry's been doing it for over a decade. We've just embraced it in the last few years.
Yeah.
2 years maybe. And now the ha-has for the AI coolers.
Very good. Very good. I want to get into that a little bit later on down the line. Your thoughts on that, on where that market is going. But if you don't mind me asking, what is your route gross?
Well, we have 11 routes, 10 trucks that go out every day, 9, 10, it depends, 9, 10, 11. And over the years, we've kind of molded where we want the routes and the type of accounts we want to try to maximize each route's revenue. So we could have been larger company in machines, in more trucks, but if you don't have an efficient operation for each route to gross as much money as possible, many larger companies get into a point where their expenses are so high that they're not really making any money. So as you grow as a large operator, you have to be very smart about it and make sure that each route can produce a good amount of revenue to be profitable, because obviously when you get larger, the expenses grow as well, and sometimes outpace the money that's coming in. So we've been doing it for 25 years. So we're to the point now where we probably are the best we've ever been in sense of grossing per truck per week type of thing.
That was going to be my next question: is how long have you been doing it to build it to that?
Yeah, about 25 years. We started. My partner and I started. We bought a small route that had about maybe 30 locations and was grossing about $4,000 a week in sales. So we're able to get a head start because I needed to make a living. I didn't have another job like many people do today. They want a little side hustle type of thing. I just got married at the time and I needed to make some sort of money in the beginning. So we bought a small business. The individual was retiring. It was one truck. My partner ran the truck and I went out on the street to try to find new business every day.
So what would have been, what got you into vending? Can you explain more about like what your why was? What made you pick vending for that?
Yeah, it's never thought about it ever. I used to work with my dad in the jewelry business when I was out of college. And then I kind of fell into a different business, a distribution business of beverages. And we got lucky because it was some no-name brands. And we were distributing in Manhattan, just off the truck into the delis, into restaurants, into bodegas, and here in the city. And one of those brands happened to be vitamin water. So we kind of got lucky. It was an unknown company at the time. It was only 2 employees. And our company grew. And we sold it about 5 years later. So it allowed us to have some money to do vending. And why did we go into vending after 5 years of doing that business? Because vitamin water needed someone to do their vending machines. They were getting some requests for vitamin water vending machines at the time. I'm like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So That's how it started. We really never got that much business from them. In retrospect, now that we think about it, it was, a few good accounts here and there. And then we just built a company from there. So that's really how the idea came, really. I was always intrigued by vending, like everybody else who's trying to do vending now. It's, the location, people are buying stuff when you're not there. You go there and fill it up for a few minutes and take the money. It was kind of intriguing to me at the time. Like today, seems like a lot of people are trying to find a little bit of a side hustle, and it's an intriguing business.
Yeah, like me. Yeah, like me, very very much so. I mean, I'm a full-time fireman for the city of Detroit. So I started this in August as a small operator and kind of just wanted to see what would happen. We only have 5 machines right now, but yeah, there are a lot of people. I mean, that's like the thing now is to find side hustles or people say passive income, which I found out very quickly that this is not, it's not passive income, which nothing really is. So we have 4 ha-has and we're doing like $4,000 or $5,000 a month with it right now. 4,000, I think, without looking at my numbers off the top of my head. Which is funny because to me, I don't know, I don't have anything to compare it to. I have a friend who has like 20 something machines and he says that I'm doing more than him. And
Yeah.
sounds like you have, maybe not very good locations. I don't know. I don't know. I'm learning. So, which is awesome being able to do this podcast because I get to talk to guys like you.
To me, it's all about you need to have an end goal. Well, what's
Yeah.
your goal? Is it passive? Is it extra money on the side? You obviously have a full-time job. Do you want to make it a full-time gig? If you don't, there's only a certain amount of hours you have to fill the machines on your own.
Yeah. Like, absolutely.
And there's only a certain amount of money coming in for you to accumulate to purchase another machine for another location.
Right.
So that's always the challenge. Oh, wait a minute, I produced $4,000 in sales for the month from your 5 machines. Do I want all that profits for 2 months of profits to go buy another machine for another location?
Yeah.
So that's always the challenge of growth through having to purchase another piece of equipment.
Well, and I talk to a lot of people now that I'm into it and I'm working with Vend Guys on their social media. A lot of people will reach out to me and I kind of am learning that there's people that have that goal of like, I just want to have 1 or 2 machines somewhere and make a little bit of extra money. And then other people are like, I want a business that I'm going to be able to quit my job and let this ride. And is this that type of business? I think it is. I mean, clearly, look at where you've gone.
I mean, it's because I never thought we'd be here today, but I just realize that if you just hustle in anything, you can sell shoelaces for a living.
You really
If
can.
you
Yeah.
hustle and you do it better than other people, you can succeed.
So you started with buying a route, and I was going to ask you about what you thought your best avenue for growth is with vending. Obviously, you can start out by buying a route, or start out like me, where I'm acquiring small, like one spot, another spot, another spot. Do you think an avenue for growth is better to look for those existing routes and buying them, or piecing it together one by one?
In my situation, I had to buy something just to make a few dollars a week,
Okay.
just to support, myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have another gig. So in that respect, if you can do it on your own without buying something, it's time. Time is of the essence.
Yeah.
How often can you find a location in order to grow at the pace you want?
Right.
And of course, you have to buy the equipment along the way. So, if you buy a route, the equipment usually is included. And if you buy it for the same or similar price as the equipment you're going to buy, it might not be new equipment, but listen, equipment works for many, many years. The equipment, people shouldn't harp over. Are they brand new? If it's a modern piece of equipment that accepts credit cards and visually looks appealing, you shouldn't hesitate to buy a location or a route that has a piece of equipment that's 10, 15 years old, because the new piece of equipment are very similar in vending today if they're bought new. And
Yeah.
there's less and less vending machine companies that manufacture machines today. After COVID, a lot of the manufacturers have
Oh,
gone out of business.
okay. I didn't know.
So, and the timing couldn't be better for the AI coolers because of that. The old manufacturers of vending machines, they were very expensive. and they were pricing a lot of the vending companies out in order to purchase one. Why would I spend, $9,000 on a vending machine? It's too expensive for this smaller location. The AI coolers helps people to buy a piece of equipment for $4,000 about.
$4,000 for a haha cooler from Vend Guys. Yes, that's like people are always surprised when I tell them that that's what it costs.
It's half the price of a beverage machine or fancy snack machine that's brand new today, almost.
Everybody that I talk to that doesn't know anything about vending will tell me right off the bat, like if I talk to them about smart, man, those must be really expensive. Why don't you just buy, the older ones or a traditional style? And I'm like, those are more. If I was to buy a brand new one, I could spend 10 grand on one when I'm buying one for 4 grand. They're always surprised at that. What
Again, it's still $4,000
yeah,
you have to
absolutely,
save up,
absolutely.
for a new location, and you hope the return is there.
Yes, which is something I kind of like about this industry is that I run a power washing business as well that I started 5 years ago. And it's in a spot where I pretty much just answer the phones and book jobs. I got employees that work for me. They're all firemen. And the barrier to entry into that industry is so easy. It doesn't cost any money. You can start out with $500, and it's see that the area just gets saturated with so many people. I think it's a little harder for vending, so it's more appealing to me as a new operator to get into something that you kind of have to have a little bit of money in order to do it.
There's a lot of side hustles. I have a friend of mine that does painting the similar way that you're doing with the painting. He has two guys that are on 1099s for him,
Yeah.
and he books jobs through the internet, through his social media stuff, and he goes to the account, assesses what this person needs and how much it will cost, and he has those guys work it.
Yep. That's what we do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
there's really hardly any upfront cost.
Right. Right. Yeah. Whereas with vending, like you want to get one
Need the
location,
equipment.
several $1,000s unless you're buying an older used machine that I would venture to say is probably going to break down on you.
But the equipment being on a location solidifies the location more than you think.
Yeah.
It's a piece of furniture that's there that stays there and is kind of forgotten about. And many times, that type of service, as opposed to in an office, the pest control or the coffee service or any other services, the cleaning services in an office, those are not forgotten about. You really have to perform
Yeah.
top notch constantly because they'll change the company if they're not happy. With vending, it's kind of an afterthought on the side.
Yeah.
And when you have a location that they really don't take the vending that seriously, you could be there for decades.
Yeah.
Really.
I just took over a spot. They had the guy for over 15 years, they said. Or it wasn't a guy, it was a large company, but they'd been in there for 15 years when I came along.
Do your job, you'll be there for a long time. And the purchase of that asset, obviously, you'll get your return on it.
Yeah. Yes. So you said you have 700 machines, 11 routes, correct? And you
Every
manage
day, nine or 10 on the street.
okay.
When there's a little bit of a surge, we'll throw the extra truck out there.
And you got one guy on each truck. Did you tell me what your total revenue across all those machines is, the gross for the year?
It's a year.
The year with 700 machines. Okay. So that's
Like I
that's
said, there's been a tremendous movement of accounts.
yeah,
We sell accounts. We'll trade locations with other operators geographically.
geographically.
It's been a massage of 25 years of understanding on how to have the gross revenue per truck as high as possible.
Okay. That's a goal.
It's the answer is not more accounts always or
Yeah.
more machines. It's efficiency, it's location, it's no three flights up the stairs. It's a lot of factors involved, and we're at a point now we've probably the strongest point we've ever been in that sense. We've had more machines, but again, more machines is more expensive. We have
So one of the things that I was thinking, my wife and I were at an airport the other day, and we see vending machines everywhere, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, we should try to get in here." And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, it's probably they probably make a lot of money in these places, but my mindset was the efficiency of coming to the airport and filling vending machines would be a giant pain in the ass. And I don't think it will be worth the money rather than I would rather have locations that are easy to get in and into and out. Now, is that kind of what you're touching on when you're saying like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if we could get into an airport and, you know, okay, we'll give you a shot, Darin. Let's put one haha in this one leg of a terminal somewhere. That would be like hours to service that. We couldn't, yeah,
yes,
especially in New York and in New York airports. So, we would want, six ha-has there.
yeah, yeah,
So that the same amount of time we'd be able to fill six ha-has and not visit it as often.
okay,
That's a major part in larger vending companies, the whole thought process. How much can this driver bring back service today? We don't Sure, we can send him to 20 locations. You hope he shows up to work the next day because he'd be upset, right? So you really want him to do a few locations a day with
yeah,
many machines if possible.
okay. That's efficient. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's
That
just, that makes
that's the
sense.
name of the game.
Yeah, I'm the same way with my power washing company. I almost don't want to do any small jobs because I don't want my guys going to 10 jobs. I want them to go to 2 jobs that make more than those 10 jobs would. So, I mean, it seems like that's similar with vending. You just want to get those good. Now, as far as locations goes, you said you have a pretty broad area. Are all your trucks leaving from the same place, or are these trucks in different, like, how do you manage that?
Well, we don't drive more than 40 miles.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not a great, and if there are some edges where we go, it's just that one truck. You might have to drive another 10, 15 miles to hit like a very large location that we have. But, when I first bought 25 years ago that route, I mean, we would be driving all over New York City, doing 8, 9 stops a day and not bringing in a lot of revenue
Right.
for the day.
Yeah.
And within a few weeks, I realized like there's got to be a better way than
You
this.
gotta, you gotta tweak it.
You got to tweak it. So we actually sold about a third of that company that we bought within a year. I realized it right away. I'm like, I can get new locations. These 15 locations are just a big nuisance and a hindrance and had so many issues for many reasons. As long as you're confident in getting locations, it's okay to part with some, either trading with another operator. It's all about the revenue. And if you could tweak it, you'll be able to service those accounts more efficiently and better. The customers will be happier
Yeah.
that you have
So I was gonna say the
if you could
customers
do a
would be
better job with
happier
them.
with that.
There's nothing worse than, oh, I hate doing that stop. I don't want to go there. It's so far. You know,
Yeah.
the lady doesn't leave me alone, or, it's the stairs. The stairs, it's so heavy, the product. You know, it's
Yeah. That's I was So yeah, for me, I'm running everything by myself. I went on a vacation last week and I had to have somebody fill machines. So I had one of my power watching guys go fill machines for me. And I got to thinking like how can I manage this to get it so that he's always doing it so that I don't have to do it anymore like I did with the power washing business. But in my head, I know exactly what these locations like. I've been doing it only 4 months, but I've already learned what they like, what I can change, what I can't change, like that kind of stuff. And I know he doesn't. How long does it take your drivers to kind of pick up on and are they that involved with it, or are they just grabbing like the stock and going and filling? Like how involved are they in the route?
they're not that involved with the decision making of what's being sold in every location.
Okay.
We have everything on we have everything on planograms. So we have a specific location we want every product in every machine or haha. And then in our warehouse, we have a picking system that actually will actually pick the products on a lighting system. It has these special lights and racks.
Hmm.
So if 6 sun chips sold at the gym by the tennis court in a location, we have a picker in the warehouse that actually will grab those 6 items. The light lights up with a number on it. So he knows he's picking this particular snack machine, and he's taking 6 sun chips, 4 baked lays, 6 Welch's fruit snacks, because we have live data coming in from the credit card reader.
Right.
There's no guessing.
Yeah, so how big of a company do you think you need to be to deploy something that efficient? That's efficiency. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, it's about trying to let the driver think less.
Right.
And we started it with a mobile picking system, like on an iPad.
Yeah.
I think we had 3 trucks we might have. You could do it with 1 truck even, with a
Right.
mobile. Now, there's a few companies that do mobile. I think Cantaloupe has that option as a mobile. I'm not sure when they would allow you to start using it based on your volume, but they do charge a monthly fee. Lightspeed is the leader in the industry, and the larger operators. I think they're the only system that use lights on racks. So on our racks, there's a specific location for every item. For Snickers, M&Ms, and it's in the same spot under the same light, and on every account we pick, it gives a number. I started the lights, I think it might have been 3 or 4 routes. It's not cheap. It's like a $4,500 a year fee, ongoing every year. But to purchase the lights was like $30,000.
Yeah.
The, the iPads, you don't need paper anymore.
Right.
You could do the iPad in the truck. So if you have all the snacks in your van, you just take the iPad out before you walk in,
Yeah.
and you could see what's sold since the last time you were there. Some people walk in, they see what they need, they go back out to the truck and then fill it. You get this iPad picking system, you could do it instead of using paper.
Yeah. Processing all that. It's a lot. All right. Yeah. So, Vend Guys is come unrolling a VMS system over the next couple months, and then on our next episode, we're gonna be talking to a guy that has one that's more geared towards the smaller operators. So I'm excited to hear about that. Obviously, this light speed would be something. Sounds like kind of have to be a bigger operator to get there, but
Well, the VMS system, the VMS, for those who don't know what that is, it's just a software system that reads the information, what's going on at your machine or
yeah,
haha. So you could look up the data. If some people don't have those type of logins, if Venrite's coming out with them, that'd be fantastic.
yeah. We right now how I do it, I just log on to my account and I set up the restock task for each spot. And then my guy can get into the app, look at what he needs, and he just does it. We're operating out of our garage, so we're very small. So
So we started with a 1-car garage.
yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
I plan on growing it. My goal is to get it bigger than the power washing business so that I can get rid of that because it's a lot of risk involved in that business. But
Yeah, my
we
power washing guy ruined my backyard.
OD kill your grass.
Killed the grass, and he took off the paint off my stucco on the wall on the house.
You got to be careful with stucco. Stucco is
I didn't tell him to do the house. I told him
Yeah,
just to do the
stucco is
floor.
soft washing only. I could go on for days with that, but this isn't a power washing podcast. All right. So I just lost my train of thought with your employees. One of the big question that I have, because my mind is always going towards getting my businesses to where, and it's not out of laziness. It's not because I don't want to be doing the work. It's because I want to create a business that creates a job for somebody, whether it's multiple jobs or small, 1 or 2 jobs, but pay wise with my power washing business, I didn't create it, but I've adopted a system of performance pay per se, where I don't pay my guys hourly. They have an hourly rate that they make because that's the law. They have to make something. No matter what, they make that hourly rate, but then they get bonuses every day based on their performance and like how efficient they get their jobs done. And if they add things to it, that's where I'm hung up with. How do I pay these guys? Because in my head, I don't like the hourly rate because I feel like a guy could take all day long to make this route where it could only, he could have gotten it done in 2 or 3 hours. So how do you pay your guys? Do you pay hourly or you have another system?
Salaries. They're all
Salary.
full time. They're all full time. We have some bonuses here and there for certain instances just to keep them excited.
Yeah.
But they're all long term guys. I mean, all my guys have been with me a long time. We don't. I'm going to say something crazy. I mean, in 25 years, we've never had one person ever file for unemployment.
That's awesome.
Ever. So we really try to retain everybody and massage. Everyone's different. You have to know how to manage people.
Yes.
But we only hire from out of the industry. We don't
Okay.
hire people from that was with other companies, 3 other companies. because we wanted them to do it our way.
Right.
So we train them. If it's a new employee, they'll go on a truck with somebody for 2 months and really see what they do, know how to use the apps, because we use these apps to inventory the machines, and how to fix the basic stuff on machines, and just to be able to identify issues. It's really about identifying the issues, because I think most issues with vending machines when they're not working is usually human induced. They didn't put the bill thing back, the change thing. They put the quarters in the dollar tube by mistake.
Yep.
They didn't lock the door properly. The
Yep.
wires inside are blocking the coin path. Many things like that. With the ha's, a lot of those things you don't have. A lot of those problems with vending is obviously no moving parts, no bills and coins to deal with. We're excited about where AI is going, and they have to make a few tweaks here and there to try to help out the larger operator, like when it comes to like capacity, maybe in the machines.
Yeah, we're
But
gonna go down the road of the smart coolers. Go ahead.
but yeah. So the capacity, if you're gonna compare it to a larger beverage machine or a larger snack machine, just the way it vends, the way it presents itself, the snacks, when there's activity, I'd like to have maybe some pushers or spirals, or something to make it look neat all the time. Even if it's 80% empty, I
Sure.
want those snacks to be put forward, and a little bit more capacity. If they're a little bit wider, a little bit deeper, we could put more products in there. Right now, currently, we're putting in these pushers from a company called RTC. We use them in our micro markets. But with micro markets, we have flexibility on size, based on the furniture we built
Sure.
for a micro market. But with a haha, these RTC pushers, they don't allow a large amount of chips to be sold on per pusher, only 5.
Oh,
Some
okay.
of them have 7. So in a vending machine, it's 10 to 12 deep. This
Yeah.
is 5 or 7 deep. We like for those, and I think over time, again, this is a new industry. I think over time there might be some adjustments to the size and how they actually vend each product so that it looks nice and neat.
That's one of my challenges with it is we use the VisiFast for the drinks, which work great. We can put 7 or 8, I think. It depends. I think I can put 8 in the freezer version, but the pros I can get 7 drinks. But the snacks, candy bars and stuff, I use Haha's original, their pushers. But with chips and things like that, it doesn't look neat to me because once they're all in the back of the cooler once people start eating them. I don't love that. I don't love that. But I think, like you said, it's new, and with all new things, operators are going to start coming up with ideas, and you'll probably see people selling things that they decided to make it better. I would assume.
Especially when high volume locations, something needs to be done.
Yeah, 100%. And I saw that with my other industry that I'm in, even in just the 5 years, things that were not efficient when I started, that other washers were like, oh, I can make this better, and then started making things, and now that they don't even wash, they sell that now. They sell that thing that they made. So I'm kind of hoping that something comes out more with these smart coolers to help it push that along. What would be some of the other things you don't like about the haha coolers specifically?
That's specifically,
That's
I like for the door to lock better a little bit. I'm just worried about vandalism in the future and
Yep.
specific locations. I'm avoiding putting them in specific locations because people are tough on the machines.
Sure.
Broken glass we get all the time on snack machines. People get mad maybe because they're not working, but I'm just worried about that a little bit. But um, to me, it's all about how much money can this driver make for us
Yeah.
in a certain amount of time.
Right.
And I think right now, if all the AI coolers, if that was all available, only that's available today instead of vending, we'd have a very hard time making any money. If
Be-
it's all 100%.
yeah.
But well, it's not just, it's cost a little bit because we need to replace the vending machines with the amount of capacity that's needed,
Yeah.
which would be a little bit more than I would want to buy. I think it takes a little bit more time to fill them over vending. And that would hurt the drivers a little bit from bringing in the maximum amount they can for the day. Um, and like I said, the capacity, the fee is also a lot higher than vending, a lot higher. You might be doing more revenue. We might be able to do more revenue if we swapped it all out. But the fees, in a larger vending company, we don't make that much money as much as you. We don't make 30-40% like you do with 5 machines.
Right, right.
We're down to 5%.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Every percentage point that's lost, we have to find it somewhere. And that's why a lot of larger vending companies that have been in business for 30-40 years and the guy's ready to retire, hasn't reinvested anything into his business, and got a little sloppy over the years. He might have a large vending company, but he's not making any money. Honestly, I've seen it all the time. And that's my fear in life, is to go down that path. So far, we haven't at all. So, but it's the AI obviously has the future in our industry.
Yeah.
I just think for them to acknowledge what we need to make money,
Yes.
we need to express that to all of them,
Yes.
because over time that will happen. I want to accelerate it. It has to happen. The market always fixes itself in America. It always does. If there's an opportunity, it will be filled eventually. And eventually, when the market does get saturated or gets close to being saturated with these type of coolers instead of vending machines, there's going to be other people that want to do it better for us, and we'll acknowledge what's better for us. Hopefully, the people who are making those coolers will be engaged with us so that they can continue to prosper themselves
Self.
manufacturing those machines. Right now, it's just a hot idea and it's a hot concept.
Yeah.
But if it replaced all my 700 machines, we might do more revenue, but I'm not sure if we would make more money.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, there's definitely some things about the ha-has that I don't like, and I'll send the WhatsApp tech people, suggestions, and they say, "Thank you. We'll let our team know." I'm like, "Yeah, right. Nobody, you're not telling anybody."
I would say for a new person that wants to get into this industry, I think ha-has are fantastic. Not going to be overwhelmed. They have a lot of time. If they have 5, 10 pieces, it's fine. But when you start building a company with employees and bills and warehousing and trucks, you need to find the extra few points wherever you can. You won't be as liberal about losing those extra 5 percentage points that you really want. You won't be that easy about it.
So what makes you deploy them? Because we've talked about
Great question.
you don't like about them. What you must like enough to keep them in your route.
Yes. Well, listen, we're exploring. We have, I think, 9 or 10 units now. We're exploring different possibilities on how to make it work for us. The word is getting out around town that some people think it's a better idea than vending,
Yeah.
but we've used it in unique situations only. For me to put it in a gym, one machine, for me to go visit it to collect $200 and waste the driver an hour of his time is going backwards for us already. We need 2 or 3 in that location to pick up $600 to waste his time. So we've used it in specific situations, like a complimentary machine to 3 vending machines next to it. And in that machine, we put just food. It's a fantastic solution for food vending. No one knows what that sandwich looks like behind the glass of a vending machine. Who knows how old it is? That's the first question everyone asks. With the haha, they can swipe the card, open the door, take a look at it, inspect it, see if they love it. And if they don't like it, they put it back. Love the concept of food. And obviously it works for snacks and drinks too. They can look at it, see if they want it. Oh, I never seen that before. Let's take a look at it. That's what's great about haha. And micro markets too. So we've used that idea a few times. We used it where we had a market, and the shrinkage and was a little bit too high for our taste. So we brought in some ha-has instead for security. Where they didn't want vending.
Yeah. You
So
think it's
that's what we've used it for. We haven't used the combination of snacks and drinks like all the AI cooler companies advise you to do, because you're trying to get the multi-vend with the snacks and the drinks. And it's a concept, maybe it's a little foreign to me. I need to embrace it a little bit more. I kind of don't yet, but I probably should. So we really haven't gone down that road that much.
that's where all our machines are just that. I mean, that's the snacks and drinks, and my plan is to just stick with those types of machines. So the locations that I'm looking at kind of need to be good for those location or those machines. Cause like you said, you can't put them, I don't think you can put them just anywhere. And I don't know that there'll ever be a time where you could put those things anywhere, to be honest. There always needs to be traditional style vending machines for those locations.
Well, this going back to what we spoke about in the beginning of the conversation was you have to assess what your goal is.
Yeah.
Is your goal going to be a vending company and quit your job or not?
Yeah.
You're not going to want to buy 2 coolers for one location that you don't need to. You're going there anyway. You have time to visit it. I go once a week. I don't need to put 2 coolers and go every 2 weeks. That is our concept. Our concept is going to fewer locations and bringing in more money.
More money.
If you're just like you want passive income, like you said, or whatever word you want to use,
Semi pat.
semi, yeah, then one is perfect.
Yeah, right.
It's perfect. Extra money on the side, $4,000 a month for 4 or 5 little coolers. That's great.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about shoot. Man, I had the question in my head and it's gone. Let me think for a second. I'll ask that. So are you feeling any pressure from the smaller operators kind of forcing you into placing those smarter assets in your locations?
Um, I could see that happening for sure. I haven't felt it much. One location, we have like 10 vending machines, and all of a sudden there was a high that showed up selling food only. And I asked my contact, I didn't know you did that. I said, no problem. If it doesn't work out with them, then you could call us.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do the food better than they can. But I can see that happening a lot. There was a little bit of a craze going back, at least 10, 15 years ago with the healthy vending machines out there from all these different healthy vending companies that they put the stickers on it. And they would call these accounts to try to get locations and sell franchises. That was going on like 10, 15 years ago. We felt a huge push against our accounts with that. I don't feel much of it because a lot of our accounts are contracts, government agencies, universities, and colleges. And so sometimes affiliated with other avenues like a food service company. Well, they'll do the cafeteria and they don't want to do the vending. They'll hire us to do the vending. It's not traditional smaller locations where we would probably feel it more.
Okay.
They just don't have access
Yeah.
to those type of accounts yet.
Yeah. As a smaller operator, I'm not really even looking. Like when my wife mentioned the airport, I was like, not even because of the things that I didn't like about it. I was like, I can't even begin to imagine how to get into contact with the right person
The
to get
red
in.
tape is over the top.
Yeah, 100%. And I've ran into that in the washing business where government stuff, like we have an Air Force base nearby, and they wanted their planes washed, and I'm like, I looked at the scope, and I'm like, that's way out of my league. So that's yeah, I would imagine that you're gonna, smaller operators really can't touch those things, but
Well, I mean, you just have to learn how, and you have to, sometimes they want to know your history of your company if you're able to do it.
yeah,
They assess, you know, uh, previous, jobs that was similar. And also you need like a very high insurance amount,
what
$5 million, of liability insurance many of these locations want.
what do you suggest for with your company or your size company? I would assume that you're always looking for new locations. Two questions, like same question, but from a smaller operator's perspective, what do you think the best route to go in getting locations is versus like what you guys are? I would imagine you probably have people that go do that, but I clearly can't afford to, pay someone to go out and like look for locations for me. What's the best
Yeah.
route for
So over
you?
the years, and I was the salesperson over the years from day one. But what I've realized is that hone in on specific locations, not many, pick 5 that you could see and you want those locations. You know it's busy. You know they have vending or they need vending machines. Focus on those 5 and do whatever it takes to contact the people who are in control, will make the decisions of those locations, and don't stop. Don't stop. Figure out, listen, before you go to war, you want to know where your enemies are hiding before you go to war.
I like that.
So you want to know the story. You want to try to get as much information as you can on those 5 accounts. You want to kind of see those vending machines before you speak to them. You want to see what the problem is, how you can make it better. Be ready with a 10-point reasons, 10 reasons why they need to use you, whether they have vending there or not. So, so when you have this type of thought process, you know, and again, I didn't have that for 15 years. In the last 10 years, I kind of got it where, if I want that hospital, I'm going to find out who's responsible for the decision making and why they made that decision from the beginning and what they're missing. And sometimes it could take a year. It has to be a focus and a relentless pursuit of it. You don't need quantity. You need the one down the street that makes it efficient for you to go in there. And, I tell the story when I lost my dad over 30 years ago, but he always told me the decision maker of something you think is so out of reach is the same type of person who goes home and walks his dog and feeds his dog just like you do. It's not some complicated thing. It's usually a few people that make that decision just as easily as walking into a barbershop or a deli or excuse me, or a gym or a tennis club to make that simple decision. You meet the guy, you're walking in 2 seconds. Sometimes it's harder to find that person, but you have to be relentless on doing it.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's a human interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a nice guy. You're a great guy. What are you going to do? You're going to bring this. You're going to do that. Fantastic. Let's do it. You just got to get to that person. It's harder. It's definitely harder. And there could be red tape, like you said, in your Air Force base, in your Army base. Yeah, it seems more complicated. But if you really want it, you could get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I call them the gatekeepers, the ladies at the front desk that one of my best accounts I went into. I actually got a message from somebody on TikTok saying I work for this place in my area and our vending machines suck. Everybody complains about them and you should come and do our vending machines. And I said, okay. So I went in there and I told the lady at the front desk, I said, hey, I talked to some of your employees and I hear you guys have an issue with your vending machines. Our vending machines are fine. They're just complaining. Everybody that's complainers here. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm trying to get her to let me talk to the next person. And she's like, no, just give me your information. And I'm like, dang. I sent an email to every single email address I could find for that company. And then I filled out their contact form on their website. And the CEO of the company read the contact, sent me an email back and was like, let's talk tomorrow. And I'm like, holy crap. It came from the contact form, not the emails that I sent to any of their upper management. It came from the contact form and it was the
Well,
CEO.
many times the employees just don't want to deal with it.
Right.
They're
Yes.
afraid to make it. They're also afraid to make a decision because it's on them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't make that decision, but the CEO sees this. He'll 2 seconds. He'll tell them, "Hey, get another guy in here." So yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of a specific story where that relentless pursuit. Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, if we keep hounding, yeah, but you do have to. Well, listen, my approach is never bashing if there is another vending company in there.
Yeah.
I've never bashed any other vending company. I never acknowledge I know who they are, if I've heard of the company. My objective is to show these 10 points of why you should use us, whether it's healthy, whether it's new equipment, whether it's a service area, whether it's how we would discuss refunds, whether it's, the food that we carry, because food is a bigger factor today. So I'm trying to think of a real specific instance, a real I can't really think at the moment. We'll get back to if I can find a real specific instance.
Tips on how to set yourself aside from them, because say I'm pushing my haha coolers, but they already have a haha cooler. What's something that what can I offer? Like how do you set yourself aside from other vending machine companies? At the end of the day, everybody's selling snacks and drinks or food.
Well, what's very difficult to do that we've been doing for the last few years is really focusing on food,
Yeah.
which is really difficult.
Yeah, because of the waste.
And just the logistics of getting fresh food to the location and
Gracious.
selling it quick enough.
Yeah.
But we realized that this could get us into any account. Food is tough,
Yeah.
and we're constantly evolving, and the amount of space that the food is taking in our warehouse
Yeah.
now is not comfortable for me. It's not comfortable, but you know, you have to pivot and you have to do what the customers want. What do they want today? Is anybody going for an hour lunch anymore from an office? Nobody. Grubhub, grabbing something 15 minutes later, going to the kitchen and grabbing something quick because they brought something from home, or they have a micro market there. It's about food now. It's about grab and go.
Yeah.
Look into 7-Eleven. How many food items are there now?
Yeah. They got
When you
everything.
walk in, it's incredible. You know,
Yeah.
hard-boiled eggs, and you have
Yeah. That's funny. Hard-boiled eggs.
you got what? I never heard that. Now I sell 60 a week of hard-boiled eggs. Who knew?
That's good. That's good advice. I think something that I need to start to try to like learn is how to manage the food in the machines I already have so that I can use that to set myself aside.
We are
Yeah.
complicating we're complicating our lives in my company.
Yeah.
We're complicating our lives with food,
To figure it out.
but it's gotten a lot easier
Okay.
now. We have 10 different, commissaries now coming delivering to us. Some we
Yeah.
have to pick up. We buying direct from many refrigerated or frozen type of items, but it's what people want. We see it. We will take an existing account. We did last week. We had 2 vending machines in there, a Bev Max and a 5 Wide Vendors Exchange snack machine. We've been there for 10 years. It was producing about $700 to $800 a week. It was a busy account. We were there twice a week, and I said, "This is a perfect account. We have to upgrade this to a market. It's a safe environment."
Yeah.
So we're in there 10 days. The first week it did $1,400 from $700 to $800, just changing the vending machines to the market. I'm sure with Haha it might have been a similar type of change, and it was because of food.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drinks and the snacks went up a little bit, but the food was like as if who knows we struck it rich with gold or something. Like we
Yeah.
found like the
That's it.
so the food to me today, again, you need to have a little bit of a active location for the food to be able to sell quick enough.
Right.
But there are some food items that have 3-4 week items, like the hard boiled eggs has about a month dating on it, so you can deal with a month. It's the ones that have 5 days and 3 days for a salad. That's a big challenge.
What's your approach on working with other large companies in New York? Do you work with them specifically like CNC, CVI in New Jersey and Superior?
No, we don't work with them. They're our competitors. I try to keep a low profile and just mind my own business because it does come competitive out there. There's certain accounts that you only see 4 or 5 different companies bidding for those accounts and trying to get them when they're on bid, for instance. If there is an account that's not happy with the current vending company and him or her looking for a new vending company, they
Yeah.
usually interview 4 or 5 of my competitors, and 2 of those, I'm not sure who the third one is, the middle one, but Superior CC Vending, they're our competitors. They do seems like they do a good job, but I mean, I gotta be friendly with someone that we're both looking for the same location.
Is there any
We
opportunity?
do ha What's that?
Is there any opportunity to work together with them?
I do work with some operators in New York area. I have 3 or 4 good friends. For the most part, they're not really a threat to me. And that's one of the reasons why we're kind of we don't threaten each other at all, and I could trust them. I just don't know the ones you listed. I don't know the owners.
As a new operator, just asking, like, is there opportunity for a smaller operator to kind of link up and work with a larger operator? I'm not even sure a larger operator would even accept that, but what do you think?
Well, in what sense working together? Like,
Yeah.
helping service accounts? There's different ways that they could work together, but um, I just feel you just have to really know who you're dealing with.
Yeah. With the industry that I'm in, our watching, I work with other companies, but it's like they got a job that's too big for them to handle, so they'll call me and I'll come in and kind of help them out with it. Um, Stuff
That
like
you can do.
yeah. I don't know how that would translate into vending though. Something to explore.
Well, I have friends in the vending industry, like you said, and recently because of geography, I gave him 2 leads,
Yeah, right.
and he put a machine in there the other day.
Oh,
So
I guess.
you would hope they would help and reciprocate that. You would hope, but
Yeah, you said something about trading earlier. There's the guy that I know in the area. He's got 20 something machines. He's talked about giving me some of his accounts that are farther away from his house, but closer to me. So in that sense, I guess
that's right.
with another company. Hey, listen, Darin, it's been awesome. This was a really good episode. Very informative. I love just listening to it. I got a ton of information, so I know the listeners will. So I really appreciate you coming on here and talking to us. We got another episode we have to record, and the guy's waiting for us. Otherwise, I could probably keep talking to you for another hour. But appreciate you coming on. All right, man. See ya.